Hi everyone, I am S. Harish Kumar from second year BSc Biochemistry and my topic is about conservation of biodiversity. Let's move on to the topic. Introduction. The enormous value of biodiversity emphasizes the need to conserve biodiversity. Wildlife is a gift of nature to be nurtured. Biodiversity is a natural reservoir with tremendous economic potential which is useful for man and nation. So its conservation and rational use of are the need of the hour to achieve sustainable development. Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF 1994, creating and maintaining systems of effective and sustainable protected areas, promoting practices of sustainable development, conserving certain species of special concern, promoting environmental education to enable people to manage the natural resources sustainably. Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. FAO helps to provide policy guidances which regulate the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity. The Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries, adopted in 1995, provides principles to conserve, manage, and sustainably use living aquatic resources. Also, we should conserve and also use sustainably the resources which we get from the fishes also. FAO encourages all countries to implement this code. They suggest us to implement this code. A model code of forest harvesting practice was published in 1996 to encourage improved management to help conserve forest. The codes were developed for the Asia Pacific and West and Central African regions. This is the code published in 1996 for the conservation of forest in Asia Pacific and West and Central African regions. These codes were developed. International Plant Protection Convention. It is to protect plants by setting standards for pest control. Pest means insects, which is harmful for the crops. We should protect the crops by setting some pest control. That is, pest control means the pesticides, insecticides like that, using this type of chemicals. This protects biodiversity by preventing pests, including invasion of alien species. Alien species means implementing the alien species inside crop. When we implement this alien species, it will take all the nutrients or essential materials from the soil and the other crops surrounding it. Biological Diversity Act. In India, Biological Diversity Act 2002 regulates access to biological resources of the country with the purpose of securing equitable share in benefits arising out of the use of biological resources and knowledge relating to biological resources. In this Biological Diversity Act, people will get equal benefits from the resources, from the biological resources. What we use, we get benefits from the biological resources. You can see in the right hand side one picture is that biological resources is converted. Biological resources is sent to analysis and processing unit. After this analysis and processing unit, it is sent to products and marketing. From there we get packaged cosmetics, fuel, food that we eat or use for our purpose. National Biodiversity Authority NBA. It was set up under the Biological Diversity Act, deals with requests for access to genetic resources by foreigners. It protects a country's resources and ensure economic benefits to local communities. It comes under the Biological Diversity Act. In this, the genetic resources are given to foreigners. From that we get some money. It is benefited to local communities. methods of conservation. In this there are two types: in situ conservation within habitat, and the other one is ex situ conservation outside the habitat. In this picturization, the animals are with freedom. They can move wherever they want, but whereas in this ex situ conservation, they are confined to one place. They can't move, they can't go beyond their limit. There are also some disadvantages in ex situ conservation, as when we see from the survival of the fittest, some species may even die because of the scarcity of the food or prey on them. In situ conservation, this is achieved by protecting of wild flora and fauna in the natural habitat itself. This is called in situ or on-site conservation. In this they are saying that, as I said earlier, in situ conservation is in its own natural habitat. We are protecting it and not taking it to some other place and keeping it. This is the basic definition of in situ conservation. Now, next point: examples are biosphere reserves, natural parks, sanctuaries, and reserve forests. There are 13 biosphere reserves, 80 natural parks, and 420 wildlife sanctuaries in India. Foundation for Revitalization of Local Health Tradition, FRLHT, Bangalore. It is located in Bangalore. In collaboration with state forest departments, conserved in situ 30 medicinal plants in the protected areas of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. They are protecting nearly 30 medicinal plants. Kerala, it is situated in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. Next is gene sanctuary. There is one gene species sanctuary for citrus species, lemon family, and another one for picture plant in India. In biosphere reserves in India, this is in this table. There is serial number, name, area in square kilometer, state, plant and animal biodiversity. And first is Nilgiri, 5520 area in square kilometer. State is it is located in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. In these places, Nilgiri forest is there. And plant and animal biodiversity in this column: 3,300 species of plants, 125 orchids, Strobilanthes species. Nanda Devi, 5860.69 in area square kilometer, and it is located in Uttaranchal. And next is plant and animal biodiversity. It is having 800 plant species, 18 mammals, and nearly 200 birds. These all are approximate values. Nokreg, 820 area in square kilometer. It is in Meghalaya state. It is an evergreen forest, tiger, leopard, flying squirrel. Rest of it is in the table. You can see it. Natural parks are in Kasingra, Assam, Gir National Park, Gujarat, Bandipur, Karnataka, Periyar, Kerala, Corbett, UP, and Gindi National Park in Chennai. Wildlife sanctuaries. They are protected areas where hunting of wildlife is prohibited. Examples are Ghana Bird Sanctuary, Rajasthan 300 species of birds, Abora Wildlife Sanctuary, Punjab Black Buck, Mudumalai Wildlife Sanctuary. It is located in Tamil Nadu. There are many animals like tiger, elephant, leopard. Vedantangal Bird Sanctuary, Tamil Nadu, water birds. ex situ conservation, preserving plants and animals away from the natural habitat, is called ex situ conservation. As I said earlier, in this ex situ conservation, the animals, we take the animals from the natural habitat to some other place. Examples are zoological parks, botanical gardens, forestry institutions, and agricultural research centers. There is a form of preserving a plant by preserving its germplasm in a gene bank so that it can be used if needed in future. This is even more expensive. In this type, conservation of crop varieties, local variety and wild relatives of crops are carried out. For example, in the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources NBPGR, New Delhi, the agricultural and horticultural crops and their wild relatives are preserved by cryopreservation of pollen, seeds, etc. In this method, rice, onion, carrot, tobacco and radish are preserved. In this type, the germplasm is taken and it is preserved by cryopreservation technique. I will say cryopreservation technique in other slides. With this germplasm, they will use it in future. They will also have the wild relatives of the crops which they were taken. In the method, rice, onion, carrot, tobacco and radish are few examples of this technique. In the National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Allahabad, several fish species are preserved. In this fish genetic resources, several species were preserved. It is located in Allahabad. This is an ex situ conservation. In the National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources NBPGR, Karnal, Haryana, the semen of domesticated bovine animals is protected. About 90 million cattle were being produced worldwide by 1977 using artificial insemination involving frozen semen. For example, wolf, gorillas, giant panda, etc. In this type, they will take bovine animals semen and it is protected in the frozen form, and in future they will use by artificial insemination technique. By this, till now they have produced so many animals. Some few examples of it are wolf, gorillas, giant panda. Around 90 million cattle were produced in 1977. Tissue culture methods help in conservation of varieties of crop plants and trees. Moreover, aromatic plants and medicinal plants are also conserved by means of gene bank, seed bank, pollen bank, DNA libraries, etc. Tissue taken from a plant, they can grow a crop. That means they can grow many number of plants. This is tissue culture's important method. By this, they can conserve the plant species. Multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology (MOET) is one such program for herd improvement. In this method, a cow is administered hormones with FSH-like activity to induce follicular maturation and superovulation instead of one egg, which they normally yield per cycle. They produce 6 to 8 eggs. The animal is mated with an elite bull or artificially inseminated. The fertilized eggs at 8 to 32 cells stages are recovered non-surgically and transferred to surrogate mothers. It helps in obtaining disease-free offspring from deceased mother. In this method, the cow is a healthier cow is induced with FSH hormone. Instead of having a single egg, it will have 6 to 8 eggs. In this 6 to 8 eggs stage, from the elite bull, the artificially inseminated to this cow. In each eggs, it will have 8 to 32 cell stage. In this 8 to 32 cell stage, it is taken out and it can be produced to a healthier or a infected cow, and this infected cow will give the young ones. This young ones will not be a infected one as it is taken from a healthier cow. Many cattle, mice, antelopes, sheep and goat have been produced by this process. These are the animals with this method they are produced till now. In cloning to obtain stem cells, the DNA from an adult animal is inserted into an unfertilized egg. The egg is grown into an early embryo from which stem cells are extracted. These stem cells and the tissue that develop from them will be a genetic match to the source of the DNA. Cloning is most famous not only for stem cells but also for production baby animals such as dolly sheep. In this cloning technique, the DNA from an adult animal is taken and it is produced to unfertilized egg. This unfertilized egg is in turn this unfertilized egg is grown and it will become an early embryo stage. In this early embryo stage, the stem cells are extracted. These stem cells and the tissues have the genetics of DNA from an adult animal. This stem cells is used for many purposes, resistance and like that, and it is also one of the most important thing to produce baby animals like that, such as dolly sheep, and recently also one type of monkey was produced from the stem cells, as the stem cells has the capacity or the potential to produce organs. Cryopreservation of the sperms of domesticated animals, particularly cattle employed in farming, has been done. It is also being done slowly in the wild animals. Sperms from about 200 species have been frozen. Cryopreservation of ova and embryo of mouse, rabbit, sheep, cow, horses and humans, antelopes, cats and baboons have been successfully done. In this cryopreservation technique, cells or tissues taken from a domesticated animal or the wild animal is kept under the frozen condition. In germ cells are kept in a frozen condition, like that you can see in the example ova and embryos of mouse, rabbit, sheep, cow and so on. These were done successfully. Whenever they want, they can take it and produce a new animal. Reference: Basic Environmental Studies by Dr. G. Raja. Environmental Studies for UG courses by Dr. Arak Barucha. Thank you, friends.